before that, Tom and Rachel are with us to talk through the other major news headlines of the day. We'll start with Jimmy Kimmel.
Why not?
Because, of course, Jimmy Kimmel being suspended from his show made big news last week. He was back on the show yesterday. Despite Donald Trump saying that he'd been axed and he was never coming back, he did make a return. And, of course, it was his opening monologue that sort of got him into trouble first time round, so everyone was waiting to see what he had to say. I've got a little clip of some of the things that he had to say.
I want to thank
I mean, you know, as somebody who really enjoys that show, I thought it was brilliant to see him back where we want him to be. And the point that he makes, Rachel, about it's not about this show, it's about having the shows that are allowed to speak like this is what is really important.
Oh, totally. I mean, what he was doing was he was restating the supreme importance of the First Amendment for all Americans, not just those who support Donald Trump. And the freedom for them to say what they will, whether it's critical of Donald Trump and the MAGA mission or not. Now, you see, what I would say about this, though, this wasn't just about free speech. And when I say to my kids, you know, when I say to myself, if something goes wrong at work, I always say, it's not personal, it's business. And there was a huge amount of business involved in the decision to suspend Jimmy Kimmel, or what they called him, suspend him preemptively, permanently, or whatever it was they used, and was some euphemism. This was about a merger. And this story is, we see this across the media piece in America. If one of the big media organisations, whether the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, or one of the networks, they depend on Trump's regulators to do business, to do their mergers, and a merger was at risk. And so what we saw here is when free speech rubs up against the commercial imperative of the actual network or the streamers. And he was victim for 4 days, and now he's back, and that's great.
They saw Disney, who ultimately owns ABC, they saw their share stock
it went down.
Dip by 3.5%. That's nearly $4 billion.
There's an issue with his viewing figures, isn't there? And commercial programmes know that the more people you can pull in, the better the show does, and blah, 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 and the commercial that can come with that. I just think, in a sense, that this is kind of nature healing itself, in that with the murder of Charlie Kirk, you had people on the right and actually people on the left saying, obviously, this is appalling. This man absolutely should not have violence committed, nor should anyone have violence committed upon them for stating their views, nor should then the right who are saying that this shouldn't have happened try and get a man cancelled for making jokes about the President of the United States who was on the opposite of politics from him. And so I think maybe we've got ourselves into a position where, at least in America, everyone can say, actually, it's OK to find something offensive or to not laugh at a joke that's being made at your expense. Unfortunately, there is a president who is sort of notoriously thin-skinned.
Yeah, and he holds the sword of Damocles above any organisation, because it's his regulator, it's his guy, Brendan Carr at the FCC, the federal, you know, whatever commissioning complaint.
Yeah.
So it's Brendan Carr and Bob Iger who took the decision to suspend him. It wasn't Donald Trump's decision. So it was a decision taken by the bosses out of fear.
But this is also an American president ruling a country where there are people turned away at the border for having silly memes of the President of the United States on their phone. And you just think, well,
that's true.
How free is your freedom of speech in the land of the free and the home of the brave?
But interestingly to that, the way it works out there in America is that you have the main network and then there are affiliates that are part of that network and they can choose whether they want to syndicate, whether they want to show this particular programme on their particular
And a bunch of them aren't.
A third are still not... They are choosing not to put the show on, even though he's been allowed to come back on and he served a suspension and he was able to put his place back where we'd like to see him. But a third of them still, Tom, aren't showing... I
mean, I think that's it's sad and a bit embarrassing if it's deemed by the network good enough to come back on, and there is, you know, the free speech precedent of people might not like this, they will vote with their feet or they'll vote with their TV remotes anyway. I think America's got itself into a bit of a bind about just how free speech is there when they talk about the First Amendment protecting that right and that you don't have a right not to be offended by stuff.
I think the MAGA... Trump's played this really badly, is what I think.
I agree.
The fact that Charlie Kirk, who delivered the youth vote to Trump, was shot during his free speech tour, and then the reaction of the administration is to cancel people who criticise the administration, just shows how important Charlie Kirk was and proper debate, as we're having now.
I think the point that Jimmy Kimmel made as well that was so pertinent was, as he said, Charlie Kirk's wife, who stood there and said, I forgive him. He said that's the example we should.
But then
follow.
Trump came on after, as you've discussed already on this show, and said, "I hate him."
No, it's extraordinary. Extraordinary.
Oh, God.
OK, let's move on and let's talk about bins.
Something we can all get universally upset about.
Everybody's got a bin at home. I feel like we've talked about it before, but there are fears of overflowing bins and fly tipping as 3-week bin collection is set to be imposed, meaning that more than 2 million people across England will have to wait an extra week to have their bins emptied.
Go, Jono. Deploy Rachel Johnson.
Go.
So I've reached the age where I find anything to do with litter or bins. Or there's a story in the paper today about they've allowed camping on Dartmoor, and the people who are camping on Dartmoor are now leaving their tents behind. It's looking like Glastonbury after the end of a 3-day festival. I'm sorry. I mean, I think, one, on the bins, I think councils, what do you pay your council tax for? This is the first thing that councils should be doing. 3 weeks is unsanitary. There are foxes all over London. It should be every week. I don't know how they get
Rachel, it's the
away
1, 2,
with
3
it.
system. Let's just talk about it. So your food waste is collected once a week. The recyclables once a fortnight. It's the residual waste,
non-recyclables every 3 weeks.
Which is the stuff that goes into the...
I know, but then you'll get these huge plastic things littering the streets as well.
I'm not saying that I believe this is the right thing to do. I guess what they're trying to say is that we need to be more discerning about what we're putting in our bin liners, because they're the ones that go into landfill. That's the stuff that we've got to try and reduce significantly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, you know my view on this.
Do we?
I just don't get involved in bins at home. It's not my bag. It's
You
just
don't
not
take
my...
the bins out?
I can't, well, I take them out, but I'm very much rotated into what I have to do. I don't know when they're collected anyway, so... As
You don't know when they're collected?
I just flood the zone. I just chuck them all out and see what happens, see what gets left. I just leave it there and it gets dealt with.
Do you remember
cycling.
Theresa May?
bad.
Do you remember Philip May? That was his job. There
Men's
were boy
jobs.
jobs and there were girl jobs,
It was-
and his was the boy
I
job.
take them out. I mean, I physically
you do
wheel
do
them
that.
out there. I do that thing, but I'm not getting involved in the rota of it. And it's just too complicated. It's becoming more complicated and more difficult. Just chuck it all out there. The guys do great. The bin men come around. They're very nice people.
amazing.
They always
love my
get
bin
presents at
men.
Christmas.
I love our bin
I know
men as
their
well.
names too.
Well, you've got
Desmond.
direct access.
I
haven't
have direct
Why
access.
do you mean?
It was bin. It's a long story. It was bin day this morning, and it's always my most exciting moment of the day. All of them go. Coming home and the bins have been taken, and the
That's your most exciting moment of the day. Not working with
I've got
me.
a protein advent calendar. Of course, it's my most exciting moment of the day.
My God.
What? I'm giving you Lulu, I'm giving you Ted Lasso, I'm giving you Pup Idol.
It's the final of Pup Idol, Ben Shepherd.
That's the most
It will be
exciting
the icing
bit of
on the
your day.
cake after a wonderful show. By the
Can I
way,
just ask,
when I come home and the bins are
Please,
empty.
can you ask Lulu to do a duet with the Pup Idol finalists? Please.
This is
That might be a
escalated.
step
Everyone's
too
a
far.
producer.
Everyone's a director.
Jeez. Taking
Just
liberties,
say,
Jono.
But the interesting thing is, where does it go? Because of course we saw the bin strikes in Birmingham and the impact of that, what that's happened. That ultimately, and if you're in London, for example, this won't happen because of course there's too many people. But if you're in the sort of the more rural parts of the country, it doesn't make it easier, does it? When you've got
Berkshire, Essex, Sussex, Suffolk, Cheshire, Lancashire, screwed. You're basically screwed because they're going to be bins out for weeks and weeks and weeks. Thank God it isn't burning hot in the summer because otherwise it would rot and pile up.
We did
and
have a
smell
really
and
hot summer as well.
It's not great, but it's at least the councils can claw the money back through other methods.
How? Parking fines.
You got it, girl.
We will
got it.
We will come.
We will come
We
to
will
that.
come to parking because apparently there's more people working in parking than there are in the British Armed Services now.
Yeah,
Doesn't surprise me.
extraordinary. An army of parking wardens.
Yeah.
Let's get
But
there
they're
later on.
making money, yeah,
Let's talk about what it is that
Through to the
people
wrong
find
thing.
attractive in their partners. Rachel, what is it? What are the things that strike you as most attractive when it
this
comes
is
to...
a story, isn't it, about it's courage, not bulging biceps, that makes a man attractive. Now, it obviously underlies
The cowardly lion is my heartthrob.
Cowardly lion.
discerning,
He goes and just
endearing, needs your help.
finds his courage. Put him up.
Is
Was
that
it
in
worth all the
Wizard of
protein
Oz?
shakes?
That's the
Yes.
Wizard of Oz.
Taking protein doesn't make you
Was
courage,
it worth
doesn't
it?
make you brave.
Sheps, all the hours
doesn't
in the
make you
gym,
brave,
you can
Tom.
bicep up all
Yeah,
you like,
I
big
agree
guy,
with
but
Tom.
turns out it doesn't work.
Women,
Yeah?
I've always been... Actually, this is a terrible thing to say, but when I go to the gym and I see men pumping and then drinking their Huel shakes, I think, mate...
Mate.
This
What's he doing
is
wrong?
not what women find attractive.
But-
what they like is
Courage.
courage, like manly steel,
Yeah.
resolve, fibre, all those things.
Fibre?
Moral fibre. No, not
That's a new advent calendar for you. It's just fibre. Really fibrous.
OK, remember
Roughage.
The Bodyguard.
Fibre, so
Remember
regular.
Why did everyone go and see The Bodyguard?
Because Kevin Costner picked her up in his arms and he protected her.
Exactly.
So you feel that... Is there... But there,
He was also pretty easy on the eye, too.
Yes, it wasn't because Kevin Costner was built like Mr. Atlas.
Do you feel like you have the bravery needed to be a modern-day man that's being attracted to...
Well, let me tell you about
women's-
the last brave thing I did, and obviously not to make it all about me, but... and I mean this sincerely, actually. I was struggling to keep my Tranmere Rovers team in League One on my Football Manager game, and I actually went to a 3 at the back for the last 2 games. And
that was a risk.
It was ruddy bloody brave.
Has it worked?
Do you know you've
I had to
lost
trust
a
the
lot of your
19-year-old
female
centre-back.
audience?
Why? What
Because
female
they don't
audience?
know what 3 at the back.
I had to play 3 at the back then, and 2 wide, and it kept us up. And that
Tom,
was-
I'm
What's
with
he
you.
Do you know what I
talking
mean?
about?
For me-
Exactly.
Are you talking about flooding the zone at the back?
Yeah, I just...
he does
I
that
just moved
Mikey
you-
does that.
With his bins.
And I did keep them up, so...
That was
pretty,
brave.
Pretty bloody
That-
brave.
That was
brave.
a brave example.
Massively out on a limb.
I'm with
there.
you. I thought the thing that makes men attractive is their football team. I didn't realise this courage thing was important.
Thank you.
Could be where it's all going wrong.
Let us know, what is it that you think is the elements that make men most attractive? Is it courage? Is it the
Yeah.
bravery to step in and stop an argument or a fight? Or would you rather than be discerning in a different way?
Well, how about making you laugh a bit?
No, forget that.
Forget that. No, it's too
football?
much work. Too much work.
Oh, hello.
Thanks for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.